A very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. This is Rodney Anderson for SJM Cablevision of St. John, Maxville, and today we're bringing you the 1984 Jubilee Parade. A very pleasant afternoon it is. The temperature in the mid-70s with just a slight wind. It is a very nice afternoon as the start of the parade is just coming around the corner off of 4th Street. Leading the parade this year are the state troopers. One of the cars is the 1937 Highway Patrol car, and it was one of the first cars used by the patrol from Topeka. The other car is the 1983 Ford Highway Patrol car, and it is the newest car being used by the Highway Patrol now. Right behind the troopers is the color guard. And now appearing on your screen is Mayor Kenneth Parton from St. John. And also in the car right behind him is 2nd District County Commission candidate Leonard Getty from St. John. And there is State Senator Fred Kerr from rural Pratt, car number 8. And right behind him in car number 9 would be Sally Bauer of Hudson, the Lady of the Year.
Congratulations, Sally.
And that nice new car, courtesy of Reflections Professional Photographers of St. John, Kansas. And as usual, lots of free candy for the kids. And there's the St. John Police Department. And behind the wheel looks like Kelly Parks, St. John Chief of Police. And what would a parade be without the clowns and kids on bicycles? Lots of entries, lots of colorful entries in this year's parade. And there's Channel 12's Freddie Fudd. Freddie Fudd and Company just entertained the kids about 30 minutes ago. If you're watching us live, put on a real interesting show.
Kids, when you see what I see, Freddie Fudd.
And there are the three-wheelers. Lots of fun there. And just to the right of the three-wheelers, a mini bike. Looks like those kids are having a good time. And lots of clowns in this year's parade too. And there's some real wild get-ups.
Hug her when she gets up there. This one right here, that's Hugger the Clown, hidden in hers.
Okay, there's Hugger the Clown. And there's the Kappa Rho Roundup, Kappa Rho sorority. And there's a nice view of the Hearthstone home float from St. John. This parade making its way down Broadway will turn right at 3rd Street, go 1 block, and then we'll go north on Main to the United Methodist Church where the parade will disperse. And this float is the Progressive Mothers Club float. The Progressive Mothers Club float. They're singing Golden Oldies. And this is the Hospital Auxiliary float, celebrating its 35th birthday. On the float are a number of nurses and administrators. And this is the family entry, the Family Circus float, featuring Bob and Linda Toms, Travis, Diana, and Mark and family.
Family Circus Roundup. Riding Cowboy.
This is the Indian Maidens Medicine Lodge Peace Treaty float. These folks are Goodwill ambassadors extending an invitation to the Indian Peace Treaty celebration and summer days, October 5th, 6th, and 7th in Medicine Lodge. And St. John National Bank entering an entry in this year's parade. And what would a parade be without lots of candy? The kids really racing out there to scoop it up. "36 years and still a truckin'. Giddy up and go. State champs St. John women's softball team."
Thank you, Julie.
And a number of three-wheelers here. Once again, more candy coming out. And this is the Weekenders Motorcycle Club. Ray and Hazel Hutchinson, Edith and Eldon Sanders, Bob English and granddaughter Jane, Connie and Marlene Waddle, Vic and Phyllis Staub. A lot of nice new motorcycles out there. Nice entry. And of course we have the Shriners as usual. The Shrine Group out of Great Bend. There are 200 members in the club. They enter parades all summer long, about 14 to 16 a year. The Sunflower Shrine Club of Great Bend. Shriners do a lot of nice work around the state, and we are very glad to have them in our parade. And a bicycle built for two. 40 years and still pedaling. Gladys and Charles Schmitter. Hey, that looks like fun. And here's the Marmy Ford entry. At the head of the Marmy Ford contingent is the 20th anniversary Ford Mustang, a GT 350 Mustang. And there's a nice photo of a Bronco 2. And following right behind is a new record that Marmy Ford purchased this last year. That's a 1927 Model T Ford. Weldon Howell of St. John bought it at an auction just for enjoyment. Looks like a nice project, Weldon. And there's a 1955 Ford that was purchased new in 1955 Ford that was purchased new in 54. No, that can't be right. Anyway, that one done by Norman Wright, Lester and Gladys Rice, Doris Wright, all of Great Bend. And there's a nice shot of the donkey ball game, Hudson women's softball team. They're riding in a 1946 Chevrolet pickup owned by Gary Fisher. And there's a 1928 Ford Roadster. Della and Joe Harris are driving a 1947 Plymouth. Nice vehicle. It's a 1957 Buick. Terry Harris and Wynette Harris. And there's a 1956 Ford restored 12 years ago. Jim Myers and Kim Myers and Tanya Frink. They restore cars as a hobby. Behind them, a 1936 Chevrolet pickup, driven by Clint Kinnaman of St. John, restored by Jerry Kinnaman. Lots of nice antique cars in this year's parade. And here's the Booster Club entry, driven by Susie McMillan. 1953 MG, owned by Alan and Susie McMillan. And in this year's parade for them is the new Tiger mascot, Denise Kelch. Tiger fans this year on the gridiron and on the basketball court will get to see that new Tiger uniform. And there's Bill English, nice looking vehicle. The rumble seat in the back. Class of 1964. And the parade of antique vehicles continues. English Lumber of St. John. Couple of nice new Fords. And there's a classic Volkswagen driven by Jim Ronan. And rounding the corner off of 4th Street is a cavalcade of farm implements. Nice new John Deere. Dillwyn Grain and Supply of Dillwyn and St. John entering an entry in this year's parade. And rounding the corner off of 4th Street is a float from the St. John Lions Club.
Yeah.
And on the side of the float, the Lions Club motto, "We Serve." And lots of horses.
Surrey with fringe on top. Homer Shoops a bit kind of Surrey with the fringe on top.
And Homer Shoops in the Surrey with the fringe on top. Reminds me of a song.
Yeah, I like it.
And coming into your picture now is the St. John Volunteer Fire Department. And the Stafford County Rural Fire Department. And at the end of this year's parade, the ambulance from the St. John District Hospital. And although that's the end of our parade, that's certainly not the end of Jubilee activities here in St. John. If you're watching us live, we invite you to come down and partake of the rest of the day's activities. And if you're watching on our tape delay broadcast, we invite you to stay tuned for more Jubilee activities on SJM Cablevision. For SJM Cablevision, this is Rodney Anderson wishing you a pleasant good afternoon.